Scholar exorcises monsters. It is said that in Changshan County, there was a scholar named Xu Yuangong during the Ming Dynasty. After the fall of the Ming Dynasty, he abandoned his ambition to achieve scholarly success and devoted himself to seeking immortality and cultivating the Tao. Over time, he learned some spells for exorcising monsters, and his reputation spread far and wide. People from all around had heard of his name. In a certain county, there was a wealthy man who one day wrote a sincere letter inviting Xu Yuangong. He sent a messenger with money and a horse to fetch him. Xu Yuangong asked, "What does your master want from me?" The servant evaded the question, saying, "Our master has only instructed me to humbly request your presence." Xu Yuangong decided to go along. Upon arriving at the wealthy man's house, a feast was already set up in the courtyard, and Xu Yuangong was treated with utmost respect. However, the wealthy man never revealed the reason for his invitation. Unable to contain his curiosity, Xu Yuangong asked, "Why did you invite me? Please tell me sooner and clear my doubts." The wealthy man repeatedly said there was no specific reason, only urging Xu Yuangong to enjoy the feast and talking in a vague and unclear manner. During their conversation, the day unconsciously turned into night. The wealthy man then invited Xu Yuangong to the garden to continue drinking. The garden was intricately designed but concealed by bamboo and trees, giving it a gloomy feel. Various flowers were mostly hidden among the weeds. As they reached a pavilion, they saw spiderwebs densely covering the roof, large and small, in a chaotic pattern that was difficult to count. After a few rounds of drinking, the sky darkened gradually. The wealthy man suggested they continue drinking with handheld lamps. Xu Yuangong declined, stating he couldn't drink anymore, so the wealthy man ordered tea. The servants hurriedly removed the wine and dishes, piling them onto a table in a room to the left. Before finishing his tea, the wealthy man made an excuse and laughed. A servant held a candle to lead Xu Yuangong to the room where he would stay for the night. As soon as Xu Yuangong entered, the servant placed the candle on a small table and hastily laughed, appearing flustered. Xu Yuangong thought the servant had gone to fetch bedding to accompany him. But after waiting for a long time, there was no sign of activity. He had no choice but to get up, close the door, and go to sleep. The bright moonlight streamed in through the window, illuminating the bed. The calls of nocturnal birds and insects filled the air, making him feel uneasy and unable to sleep. After a while, Xu Yuangong heard a rustling sound from the ceiling, as if someone was walking. The sound was loud, sometimes approaching the staircase, sometimes moving closer to the room where he was sleeping. Terrified, Xu Yuangong's hair stood on end. He quickly covered his head with the blanket. The door suddenly opened, and Xu Yuangong lifted the edge of the blanket to peek. He saw a monstrous creature enter. It had a beast's head and a human body, covered in black horse-like hair. Its sharp teeth were gleaming white, and its eyes shone like lanterns. It approached the table, lowered its head, and began to lick the leftover food on the plates. With each lick, several plates were cleaned. Then, it moved closer to the bed, sniffing the blanket covering Xu Yuangong. In a sudden motion, Xu Yuangong sat up, covered the creature's head with the blanket, and shouted loudly. Taken by surprise, the creature struggled and broke free, rushing out of the room. Xu Yuangong put on his clothes and fled as well. He found that the garden gate was locked from the outside, leaving him unable to leave. He had no choice but to run along the wall, crawling out from a low spot that led him to the stable. The stable workers were startled, and Xu Yuangong explained the situation, requesting to spend the night there. As dawn approached, the wealthy man sent someone to check on Xu Yuangong. Seeing he wasn't there, the wealthy man was greatly alarmed. They eventually found Xu Yuangong in the stable. As he emerged from the stable, Xu Yuangong was furious and said angrily, "I'm not familiar with spells for exorcism. You invited me here without telling me anything. I had a rui hook in my pocket, but you never gave it back. You were clearly setting me up for danger." The wealthy man apologized, saying, "I had planned to tell you the truth but was afraid it might distress you. We didn't know you had a rui hook in your pocket. Please forgive my oversight." Xu Yuangong remained unhappy and, after obtaining a horse, rode back home. From that point on, the monster disappeared. Whenever the wealthy man held feasts in the garden, he would laugh and say to his guests, "I can't forget Mr. Xu's contributions. In this world, there's a kind of evil called concealment." The wealthy man, without Xu Yuangong's knowledge, compelled him to forcefully help with exorcism, disregarding the safety of others and only considering himself. This selfish and self-centered behavior is a prime example, according to Pu Sungling, of the oppression by the bureaucratic class toward the lower classes during the feudal society period.
Alright, this story has come to an end. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you.